Hello, 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 and welcome back to Spoonie Games and part 2 of Cooking Companions. And before we continue, because while doing my checks at the beginning, I clicked on extra and the chompettes said about recipes, and it's actually a proper recipe. So if anyone wants to make a roasted eggplant with sesame and pomegranate, this is how you do it. Doesn't seem to be anything else. Can't scroll down, so it's just that. And also, that I saw on the extras, when we had our dream of something on our back that we got a glimpse of, this was it. I'm guessing that's the knife, or their mutated hand, or what's left of their hand that they shanked us in the back with. Or in the dream. Yes, lovely looking person. So, get back to what we're doing, which I guess was number 1. So, did the lightning wake you up? It's not really the lightning that I would say that wakes people up, it's normally the thunder that accompanies it. It woke me up. Tried to fall back asleep, but it's so loud. Yeah, that's the thunder. Ugh. Let's just go back to sleep and talk about this in the morning. Everyone nods in agreement and gets back to bed. We're about to be stranded, and we weren't gonna have... We're not gonna have enough food. Except for you. Can't fall back asleep. Still have goosebumps from that nightmare. Yeah, we were just looking at what was living on your back a moment ago. Quinn snores and making the walls shake. Don't sleep a wink, opening your eyes when you hear slamming the door. He sounds petrified. I looked out of the door and we are completely surrounded by floodwater. I was going to say, how can slamming a door sound petrified? Looks like sailors take warning was more appropriate for today. Maybe it'll clear up tomorrow. Maybe we're fucked and we are stranded in this cabin with very little water. Little supplies. I don't know about the water situation. If we've got water, it's not as bad. But yeah, we've got a running kitchen, so I'm guessing that's tapped into some outside water source. You're no optimist, Corinne. Yeah? That's all Gregor has going for him. Ugh. He's also good at chopping wood, though. Knock it off, you two. Well, you did apparently chop up a ton of wood, so potentially got water supply, and we've got heat. The only issue is going to be food. If we've got water, we can possibly just about get by. Do you think it will clear up tomorrow? I give it a 27% chance. Based on what? I was bored stiff, so I read a book on local precipitation levels. You're a book nerd, right? This dude. Why didn't you read it earlier? Ugh. Couldn't make it past the cover. Is that right? Yes. That book has some... Oh, that bookshelf has some great books on artisan crafting and natural sciences. Why let them sit there and gather dust? How did you arrive at the 27% chance of it clearing up tomorrow? It's easy with science. Take the time of the year, multiply it by a factor of... She begins to explain meteorology to you. She isn't dumbing any of this down. It's similar to where... So the first thing you need to understand, minutes of explanation feels like hours. They look over at Antony. He's listening intently to Maria. So intently he isn't blinking yet. You can see his eyes drying up. A tear rolls down one of his cheeks. This is brutal to watch. He's dead. She finally wraps up her lecture, ending with a bow. Nobody claps. Tough crowd. That was awe-inspiring! You lost me a few minutes in, but it's okay. Didn't understand a word of it. He turns to you. There's no telling how long this will last. We can't leave the cabin until those floodwaters stop. I know our food situation is a little tight, but I know you'll make the right decisions. I believe in you. Oh, so it's all down to me. Me too. She doesn't look happy about the situation. Like we have enough leftover berries for bread and jam, or for bread and raspberry jam. I'll pass on the jam, just give me more crusty bread. Everyone laughs, except for you. You die a little inside. Everyone's stranded in the cabin. Yes, we're all stranded thanks to the water. You need to keep everyone fed and happy. This is where the real game begins. Who's gonna be fed? Who's gonna stay happy? Sneak out the kitchen while everyone's still talking. Do I get to explore somewhere? You get some crusty bread and get to work making some more jam. With the kitchen to yourself, you decide to check in on the trumpets. Hello! Don't worry, as leader of the trumpets, I'll make sure none of the humans know about us. That big guy would try eating me like an apple, so definitely don't tell them about us. Potato! Ha ha ha! Are your plans going awry? Oh, this funny bread. Got another cornbread classic for you. Did you hear about the bread maker's bakery burning down? No? Her business is now toast! Classic bread. That one's a little stale. Do you know how raspberries and milk were introduced? You tell her now. Raspberry milkshake? Oh. You let unaudibly groan. Yep. The punny chumpets. Did cornbread teach you that one? Nope. Waste an entire day on it. It was well worth the time and effort, Raspberry. Maybe you'll win the annual Trumpets Comedy competition this year. Of course! Not while I'm here. I won't choke on stage this time. Isn't that every year, Bread? Haha. We still talk about that closing joke, Bread. You gotta do great this year. So can I not murder the trumpets and make food from them? Anyway, don't even think about eating us if you're hungry. Alright. It's like you read my mind. Trumpets stick together through thick and thin. Rain or shine. Feast and famine. And potato. Potato, I swear to God. Repeat the line or we're locking you up again. Life or death. That's right. Trumpets. Move out. Drawer closes. The trumpets somehow managed to close the drawer on themselves. Bring the crusty bread and jam into the living room, where everyone has murdered each other for food. Grin stops at you bringing in the food. Took you long enough. Grin looks at the 2 slices of bread left and the mason jar. Oh yeah, mason jar of raspberry jam. There's mold on at least 2 slices of bread. Grin is right. What the hell is the matter, is he? You grip the knife tightly in your hand. You think this is enough for 5 of us? Wait, we can't throw this bread away. It's all we have left. Gregor's right. Will the mold spore give us food poisoning? I'm no scientist, sorry. Cut or scrape the mold off? Cut the moldy bit away? Let's pick off as much mold as we can. We can't leave with the flood waters, so this will have to last us for another day. Everyone grimly nods, ripping the bread apart like a pack of wolves. Gregor eats the biggest chunk of mold. Disgusting. Thanks again. Bread and jam isn't much of a meal, but it's more than we had in Ukraine. So we're in Europe then? Plenty of rainwater outside, so at least we won't die of dehydration. But until the storm is over, we shouldn't leave the cabin. Should clear up if we just give it some time. What makes you think that? One of the books had weather reports. You're illiterate, so that's a lie. Ugh. Grin, I've seen him reading. Who reads upside down? What do you think? Wasn't his whole thing that he can read? They brought loads of books. But I don't really want to piss her off. Yeah, she's correct. Kia? Hee hee. You're funny. I keep playing pretend until he... Brutal Corinne. Found an old picture book in the living room, Antley. Might be something more your speed. Corinne. Corinne smiles at you. Let's call it a day. Yeah, sure. Everyone shuffles off to their sleeping areas. 6 minutes later. I'm glad you called out Anthony's buff. You continue to impress. It's a shame he's sleeping in the same bedroom. I should have never shared it with him. What if it was just me and you? Oh yeah. Sure we could study and squeeze a few novels in before bed. You nod. Well, we'll have to kick him out at some point, right? Oh, and you'll have to tell me about the anatomization book in the bedroom? Really cool pictures in there. Corinne looks like she has a crush on you. Let me know if you're ever free for a lesson. Is it like an autonomy book? If I could get that right. So, yes, she wants a lesson, possibly about that, if that's what it was. Completely missing the point. You're definitely sure Corinne will remember that. Woo! She might not murder us. Unless she gets too attached and then murders us because of that. Who knows what's gonna happen? You go to sleep very hungry. Don't dream the entire night, but you sleep through everyone waking up. So I might asleep on the sofa. And that's how run? How fast a deer can run if startled. Whoa. Incredible. Impressive. Yawn. I wish we had a deer here. With the food getting lower, let's just skip today's meal. No. It's only for one day. Various cultures and religions have practicing fasting throughout history. That doesn't make us feel any better, Antley. What options do we have? Our food wasn't rationed properly. Antley leaves mumbling to himself. So passive-aggressive of him. Everyone moves to a separate area. Corinne in the bedroom, Gregor in the living room, Maria in the kitchen, and Antley in the bathroom. Who do you want to speak to? But who's where? I've not really spoke to any of the guys. Should I do that and like boost their relationship stats? Because maybe that will help in the long time because they all think we're friends, even though we are supposed to be friends. I guess maybe chat to him since what we did yesterday. Ick. I'm done using the bathroom. Sorry, I must have been daydreaming. Until he looks at you oddly. Do you ever have that problem? Only about rivers and blood. Well, with entrails and villages frayed. You bet! Of course! Good way to cure boredom. What do you daydream about? Cooking? You nod? Yeah, I thought so. I can tell that you have a history with cooking. So, you can tell that Anthony is struggling with small talk. What's the best thing you've ever cooked? A feast fit for a queen, a vegetable stew from earlier. Children! Yeah, let's go for it. A royal feast, eh? Wonder who it was for. You'll have to tell me sometime. Okay? Anthony is looking at you dreamily. You will definitely remember that. Yay, go friendship. And maybe more. Later. You decide to head back to the others. Everyone looks pretty down this evening. It won't stop. You're all doing great, just a little longer. I'm so hungry. Me too. Wish everyone a good night and get ready for bed. It better stop tomorrow, 'cause it's about to be when everyone's gonna eat each other. Your stomach is growling more. You have a strange dream. A boy is yelling at you in the kitchen. You keep telling him to lie down on the tray, but he keeps screaming at you, calling you names. So you show him how it's done. You lie down on the tray and make your body as flat as a board. A smile curls across his face. His anger turns to courage, and he pushes you into the oven. As the stench of burning hair fills your lungs, you see him staring back at you. You wake up in a cold sweat. Lovely! So we had weird thing on our back, stabbing us, and then us drowning in a lake, and then being cooked alive. Everyone seems to be sleeping in later than normal. Their stomachs must have kept them awake all night. The rain is still pouring down outside. You can barely make out the trees from the windows. You hear Maria get up. She looks petrified. I couldn't sleep. Until he has bags under his eyes. The storm is too loud. Grin looks out of it. She does look really bad, but also scared. The cabin was creaking so much last night, it sounded alive. Gregor looks a little gaunt. It's got a good look. I got a good look out the window. And all I saw was rain. Great observation, Gregor. I was so hungry last night, I kept pacing around the bedroom. Corinne turned to you. When is this going to end? I checked outside the door again. Floodwater keeps rising. Unfortunately, we're going to need to stay put unless one of us wants to drown in the rainwater. But surely, like, I know we're on top of a hill, that if you've got big wellies, boots or something, like, you could walk out there and try and find something. Surely it's not that high. Like, take Gregor, like, he's a big guy. It's not going to come up, I want to say, past his waist, if that. Once the weather improves, we have to scavenge for supplies. How close is the nearest town? I don't know. Didn't you have a map on you? I think I dropped it while we were running after Gregor. I'm sure it'll show up eventually. Positivity. Maria and Antley go white as a sheet. Are we going to find our way back now? We'll have to ride out the storm. Maria looks at you. We're down to our last slice of bread. Don't know how much longer we can put off eating. The group stares at you. It will clear up in no time. Maybe you're right. The group looks worried. They're all gravitate to different areas. As they do, Gregor's fake optimism is worrying. Maria is having trouble. Which one do you want to speak with today? I guess Gregor, because yeah, he's the only one we've not chatted to. Oh hey! I know you already searched the kitchen, but I had to double check. A fool's errand. I wish everyone was in a better spirits. It can't rain forever, right? Do you not remember the biblical flood? 40 days, 40 nights. Rainfall in this area can last days to weeks. You tell Gregor to stay strong. You know what? Thank you. This group is really thankful for your kindness. Gregor blushes a little bit. Aw, dude. I always wanted to be the one that kept everyone in good spirits. But it's obvious you do that much better. I hardly say a word. I nod. And I prefer food, which last time was mouldy. Apparently that keeps everyone's spirits up. Fine, Gregor. Look at you fondly. I'm sure Gregor will remember that. Yay, we got a heart for everyone. Everyone's crushing on the chef. The rain is pouring hard against the wooden cabin, but at least no one is getting... Oh, none of it's getting inside. Oh yeah, don't... Oh. I was going to say, way to jinx it. At least the cabin's all waterproof. Soon they find a crack and all the rain comes in. You tell Gregor to keep his spirits up and join the others. You call everyone together. They all look nervous. You look like you're blushing. You could cut the tension in the room with a knife. And then cook it! Everyone is staring at you. They're expecting that last piece of bread for dinner. Bring it out. Everyone cannot take their eyes off it. They instruct everyone to take a pinch. And slowly all 5 of you tear it apart like a wishbone. Everyone studies their piece of bread carefully, wondering how long it will last. Corinne is the first to eat hers, chewing each bite a few hundred times before swallowing. Until he chews it cautiously, slowly swallowing it as he looks at the others. Maria nibbles on it silently, eyes wide, moving from person to person. And Gregor swallowed it in one bite. Just popped it in his mouth like a cherry. He inhaled it. The group thanks you awkwardly. It's not much, but you've run out of options. You wish everyone a good night and get ready for bed. You go to bed starving. Good morning! Morning. Let me check if the rain has stopped. It doesn't sound like it has, but sure. It's still flooding. What are we gonna do? Humans can live about 2 to 3 weeks without food. Water isn't a concern. See, that's what I said, as long as you got the water. Rainfall should end in a day or two, right? Actually, precipitation can occur more than 215 days a year here. But do you really think it will rain for that long? Anthony, it's been days already. What makes you think it will stop soon? Look. Relax, everyone. Let's see how long we can ride this out. Fingers crossed it's done by tomorrow. Panic is slowly creeping in. Everyone's looking scared. But you need to survive. Can't we eat the squirrel friend that he's got on his shoulder? Corinne and Gregor begin to discuss next options. Do you want to speak with Maria in the kitchen or Anthony in the living room? I'll speak to her. Hey. She looks relieved to see you. Just my sheer presence is enough to boost this relationship. Yeah. How are you holding up? Got a question. How are you holding up? Not very good. That's very sweet of you to ask. She looks at you intently. She gets a little closer to you. I noticed you didn't use any meat when cooking. Usually I have to pick it out of foods the others make, but you respected that. Thank you. I was looking at you with admiration, and then I hit the wrong mouse button. I need to speak to Gregor for a minute, but thanks again. Well, it's not like we really had any meat. Definitely sure Maria will remember that. Cool. I walked in. Oh. Double heart. One for my sheer presence, and another for saying, yeah, I didn't use meat because I didn't have meat. You decide to check out that drawer again. Trumpets! Oh, it's just potato. You ask potato where the others are. They'll be back. They wanted to explore the labyrinth of tunnels around the cabin. Surely you've seen the mouse holes, right? Yes. They connect all over the cabin. Must have been some mouse that created them or something worse. Anyways, I'm not going to sugarcoat this. Things are going to get worse from here on out. You have a feeling potato is telling the truth. You realize some drool is leaking out of your mouth. Disgusting. Don't even try to eat me. You'd just get deathly sick if you tried, and from the look of you, you need to retain all the water you can. From rationing to cooking, you failed every common sense measure of basic survival this week. You knew something like this would happen, right? Never mind. With flood waters rising and no food now, I think it'd be a great time to go over the fundamentals of starvation with you. When experiencing starvation, there are 4 factors that will determine if you live or die. Age, height, weight, and your degree of active or inactivity. You've been especially lazy, so I think you'll survive a little longer than the others. The Harris-Benedict equation can help you figure out how many calories you need to simply maintain your current rate. The equation produces a number called a basal of metabolic rate, or the BMR. Stay with me here. BMR equals 655 plus Wait, it's in pound, but yeah. Totally. For fun, let's try it out with someone here, Maria. This looks £120, about 5'5", 20 years old. Crunching the numbers. I think she'd need about 1,388 calories daily. That's being abnormally stationary. She'd have to lay in bed all day, all night, just eating, breathing, using her brain. Not very common when you're starving to death. People tend to get up and move. And she's been very active, let's say, swimming through floodwaters. Need to multiply that by 1.9. So now she needs 2,638 calories per day. That's quite the difference, especially if you didn't ration the food properly. I didn't know we were gonna get trapped. Which you didn't. Guess that wraps up our survival lesson. Hopefully we'll never need to speak again. Okay? You shut the drawer, going over the numbers again. And how screwed we are. Don't think any of us can take this much longer. Gregor's voice starts to crack. I don't want to ask this, but it's time. One of us needs to go outside and search for food. Everyone is silent. I'll go. So that's what you said about her swimming. But Maria, I'm used to swim all the time near my house. I probably have the best chance of swimming through the floodwaters. No, let me go out instead. You won't get very far even if... make up a sentence. You won't get very far if anything happens to your glasses, Antley. You're blind as a mole rat, remember? That's true, but... Little guy, let me go. Gregory. Sounds good to me. Corinne? His arms are the longest. He probably has the best... he's probably the best at climbing. Wouldn't be right. Gregor, let me go instead. Alright. So before we lose some, I have a feeling a choice is going to come up, so I'm going to save it here before I have to pick who lives and who dies, potentially. So, we will find out soon how downhill this is going very, very fast. But we've also got the basement. Can we not break the lock and find out what's down there if it's not flooded? But yeah, we'll find out what happens next time. Take care, everyone. Bye for now.